Coming up on this episode of Training Camp Weekly, Paul Allen joins us in studio to give us his impressions of camp so far. Plus, we'll hear from rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy ahead of Saturday's game. We'll also dissect the cornerback battle that's heating up. But first, let's hear from the head coach.
None of those things really matter. It's about this year's team, how we've handled training camp, a little bit more from a physicality standpoint, a little bit more bumps and bruises here and there because of how it's going. But my hope is we've got a good group of guys to go out there and be competitive with on Saturday.
Hello from inside TCO Studios. This is Training Camp Weekly. I'm Tatum Everett, alongside voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen. And Paul, you've been around training camps several times, and now for the third time around Kevin O'Connell and his coaching staff. What have been your impressions of how it's going so far?
I think it's going very well because it's really these football players and coaches and those who work intimately in the game, they are creatures of habit by design. Repetition's very important, but also keeping things peaceful, and that includes the mind. O'Connell will say, quiet mind, play with a quiet mind. I've just noticed that with the way walkthroughs have been moved the last couple of years and just some scheduling changes and stuff, Kevin and his staff are very cognizant of the mental wherewithal of the players, meshing with and not fighting the monotony of this time of the year. So they get breaks, and it seems to be helping because things are getting accomplished and it's quite peaceful.
Peaceful for now until the crowd hits the stands of US Bank Stadium on Saturday for the Vikings' first preseason game. We should be seeing some series from the 2024 first-round draft pick J.J. McCarthy. He spoke this week heading into his first NFL game.
Most eager thing to see is just a vanilla defense, honestly. But out of myself, it would be just making sure the things that we harp on, all the little details, all the little intricacies that go into each and every rep show up on game day, you know, when there's a lot of noise and there's a crowd, and just being able to lock into the level of my training that I've been doing on a consistent basis since I got here and be able to do it when the time matters.
Now, I know this fan base is super excited to see what the former Michigan quarterback will bring to the table on Saturday. However, we still have a lot of eyes on Sam Darnold, the free agent quarterback pickup this offseason who's been taking the majority of first-team snaps. So far, what are your impressions of this quarterback tandem, I guess you could say?
Yeah, it's the most polarizing question involving Vikings football up to the season, and I completely understand why. Because the more fans and media members and BEN and announcer and everything get to know J.J. McCarthy, the more you just recognize how infectious his personality is. And he's a man of humility. Like, one off-microphone conversation I had with him was, I watched a couple of interviews of yours at Michigan after you won dramatic games. And his inclination was to praise the offensive line, the running back, the receivers, even though he just won the game. So he's a man of humility, and I really, really like that. With Darnold, when you watch him in practice, it looks like a Kevin O'Connell offense, you know, with the way it's supposed to go. Now, granted, you know, there's some connecting of the dots there where A needs to go to B, to C, protection, and there goes Jefferson for 60. And Sam, you can tell he's really smart. You can tell he's well prepared. McCarthy gets in there, and it's different. He's smart, he's well prepared, but he's still learning on the fly. So it may be a 15-yard, you know, me to you, and he throws a fastball where you just kind of get the feeling he's like, whoa, 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 let's loft it a little. So, you know, I've been here from the time they drafted Christian Ponder high, Teddy Bridgewater high, J.J. McCarthy high. The way they're working with him and just the overall aura with McCarthy is absolutely fantastic. Personally speaking, I can tell that, you know, it just doesn't seem quite ready to thrust in there and give him the whole thing. But that's why you have Darnold, who's super smart and very good.
Exactly. I mean, JJ said the one thing he's excited about preseason game on Saturday is that he'll have a vanilla defense in front of him.
Right.
Instead of having to take on Brian Flores' very complicated to read defense. And speaking of the defense, they are going to be guys hitting each other for the first time. It's going to be great to see actual tackling going on. So PA, the second year under Coach Flores, what is something that you've noticed consistently in what he teaches during training camp?
Well, that's an excellent question, because the first 3 games of the year last year, it all was new. So when you have 7 strewn across the line of scrimmage, okay, it wasn't as effective the first 40 times teams saw it as it was the next 40, because then you get to like the 4th game last year, and now they're looking at it going, all right, well, Harrison Smith came from here, Metellus came from here, Bynum came from here, but it's probably not going to be like that. So the unpredictability is there. But the thing that's jumping out at me most right now is the players who were on the team last year, it's quick twitch, where first 3 games last year it wasn't, because it was so new and so complicated. So Harrison Phillips, Harrison Smith, Cam Bynum, Joshua Metellus, so on and so on. It's quick twitch, and it's really fast. This defense has a lot of speed.
That's coming as an advertised for Flores-made defense.
No doubt.
One position battle that we are keeping our eyes on very closely this training camp is the cornerback battle, and mainly because of new faces, and it's really a position of need. We're going to take a look at it. You have Shaq Griffin and Byron Murphy Jr. right there. The unofficial depth chart obviously listed on Vikings.com. Fabian Moreau signed this camp, immediately running with the ones. You've got fan favorite Duke Shelley. He's back after being here in the 2022 season. And then that curious guy down there, it says S next to his name, Jay Ward, listed as a safety on the roster, but he's been running with the corners after having experience playing this position in his career before. So PA, the hot question for the cornerback room, how do you think this shakes out behind Byron Murphy and Shaq Griffin?
Right. Excellent question. And first and foremost, I mean, really with all due respect to everybody here, you could have Lester Hayes, Darrell Green, and Deion Sanders in your secondary. If you ain't rushing the quarterback, well, nobody can check anybody for a minute. You know what I mean? So now the rush to cover part is absolutely in play with Grenard and Dallas Turner and the rest of the guys. Now, from a cornerback standpoint, I think it's telling. Fabian Moreau, got here within the last week, immediately running with the ones. Why would that be? Kevin O'Connell was with him in Washington. So they know each other, and Kevin already kind of knows where he's good and maybe where he struggles. Bobby McCain, a safety they picked up a couple of weeks ago, he was with Flores in Miami. So now you get a couple who jump in immediately, and let's say they know 20%, but it's not 0.
Sure.
So those guys have helped a lot. The Jay Ward angle you hit on Tatum is fascinating, but that's unto a Flores defense. Metellus listed as safety, might have played more linebacker than anything. Ward, same thing. Bynum, same thing. Harrison Smith, the hitman, on the edge like an edge guy, blitzing. So really, position flexibility matters a lot to Brian. But with this cornerback situation and losing Mekhi Blackman for the year, and may God rest the soul of Kyrie Jackson, they've had to change on the fly, and they're changing on the fly, and it's in a hurry.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of college football in a sense, where you're just trying to get on the field, and there are a lot more maybe position changes when you are in college as opposed to the pros. It's not
That's a good
unforeseen
point.
Because obviously you have Cam Bynum making that switch from from corner to safety.
Right.
However, you see Jay Ward, who has his college coach, Durante Jones, on the current Viking staff.
You hit on 1.5 really good things there, because you mentioned.
Only a half?
No. Because you mentioned Durante Jones.
Yes.
All right, and now Durante, yes, he was with Jay Ward at LSU. He was here, went to LSU, and he came back. Well, Durante was also with an undrafted corner named Dwight McGlothern, 47, undrafted from Arkansas. And people are like, okay, undrafted 47, he's kind of slinky. Okay, wait till you get a load of him in these preseason games. And that's how the league works. O'Connell knows Moreau. Moreau is here. Flores knows McCain. McCain is here. Durante Jones knows McGlothern. I don't know if he's going to make the active roster or not, but from what I've seen with my untrained eye, looks pretty good.
Certainly making a really great case for himself.
So you put him in the mix there, but what you said there about college football is fascinating, because in college football, even on that elite Michigan defense, there were 1 or 2 spots everybody tried to pick on every play of every game. That's college football, where you got some high-enders, but then you got 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 for some teams who have no shot of being even undrafted. Well, you don't want that to be the case here. So therefore, when you're putting out 11, these are all 11 who have earned the right to be on the active roster and start. So that just shows you the confidence they're instilling, or they have in Jay Ward, to put him in those spots. I don't know if he's going to play a lot, but he's playing a lot now, and you don't want to have any form of an albatross on your defense where teams just keep picking on him.
Definitely. Well, hopefully they won't be picking on him on Saturday, because PA, this is the first time, or at least the first weekend we will have football, Vikings football, and honestly football until February. So that's a really exciting thing. The Vikings will kick off the 2024 preseason at home in US Bank Stadium, and if you cannot be there, you can watch the action on Fox 9 if you're within their viewing area. If you're not, you can check out NFL Network. That kickoff is set for 3 p.m. If you also want to listen to the broadcast, you can hear PA on KFAN. However, you are going to be in the booth for the broadcast this time around. What can fans look forward to when they tune into the game on the TV?
It's doing the simulcast is a lot of fun. I've done it for more than a decade now, and I just can't thank, Brian Harper and the Vikings enough for believing in me and us that much to do that. It's an honor. But this weekend we're going to have the new kickoff, okay? I can't wait to watch that, just to see how close 20 players are next to each other. After that, I just can't share how high my level of excitement is to have Justin Jefferson mic'd up on the Vikings sideline for the entire third quarter.
I don't think that's ever been done before.
He's going to chat with me, Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber's on the field, and when media relations here started talking to us about it, and then they finally closed on it, I just started thinking of well, what are we going to talk about? And just to think of Justin on the field, watching his teammates and those he's in the room with run routes, and okay, Justin, you always get doubled and tripled. Now, if there's a single 5 yards from you, what does a receiver think? What's an option route? How does that work? Then we watch the play, and Justin describes it. This is unbelievable.
It's pretty unprecedented.
Unbelievable. Third quarter this Saturday, Vikings and Raiders, Justin Jefferson, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Well, he's still there. I mean, it's during breaks and everything. It's unbelievable. He's the best in the game, and he's on the simulcast.
It's wonderful.
Jeez.
We're really, really excited about that, and we're really excited about Saturday's game. For anything and everything Vikings leading up into the big game on Saturday, you can stick with Vikings.com or the Vikings app. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of PA and myself. We can't wait to see you guys back in US Bank Stadium on Saturday.